Hello guys, welcome back to another podcast. New face here today, as you guys can see. That's my friend Gilson. How do they actually call you in English? Because Portuguese it's easy, but I don't know in English.
Yeah, it is a bit hard actually. So everybody call me, I don't know, Juice or Joseph or Jeff or whatever. Right. So I was making some calls, and then I was like, I have to make something to make it easier. You know?
Yeah.
And then I came up with the big idea of G. So that's how everybody call me now, nice. Because it's easier. It's just the letter.
Easier. Yeah, much easier. Just the letter G.
Yes.
So we have the top G here today. I'm joking. And today we're going to be talking about crypto. I remember last episode with Nathan. Everyone asked, lots of questions about crypto, and even me and Nathan, we sort of had some question to each other that we couldn't answer. So it was like a discussion with questions. I was asking him questions, and he was asking me questions, but no answers was in there. So I brought an specialist here.
All right.
So if you want to introduce yourself, better than me than introducing you.
Yes.
It's all yours, man.
Alrighty, so it's a pleasure to be here with you guys. Thanks for the invite, and
well, I thank you.
I'm really happy to be here today.
Yeah.
And so I'm G. I fell in love with crypto back 4 years ago, and then a friend of mine, he basically obligated me to buy Bitcoin for the first time, and then that was when my life started changing a lot. And yes, we're here now. I make videos on YouTube, I make videos on Instagram, all over Twitter too, where everything of crypto happens. Mm-hmm. If you want to come to the top of the information in crypto, you must go to Twitter.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Twitter is the main point. Because when we talk about central banks, let's make it clear, I'm a noob when it comes to crypto, right? This is why I brought you here.
Yeah, okay.
And we had a 30 minutes meeting before the podcast started, because I don't know anything about it. I only know that Bitcoin, I don't even know if Bitcoin is the biggest one.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so at least I get this right. Yes. So I only know that Bitcoin is the biggest one, and that's all I know. So lots and lots of questions for you tonight. Actually, if you want to give it out your Instagram for them, but remember it's in Portuguese.
Portuguese, yes. Brazilian Portuguese.
I don't know if it's going to help them.
Yes, it's Gilson. So Gilson.
Yep, you guys can see it down here. Dave's going to put it up right there.
That's good.
So 3 years on the market.
Yes, basically that. Yes.
And how old are you today?
I'm 25 now.
25.
Yes.
Wow, so you started pretty much with 22 then.
Yeah.
My age, I'm 22 today. And I remember my friend talking about crypto in 2017.
Ooh, good time.
Yeah, that was a good time to buy Bitcoin, because Bitcoin was costing not even $1,000, I think.
Yes. Between 17, 19 was almost top, and then it came down again, and then it had its own cycles. So that's one thing we can talk about. Mm-hmm. And 17 was actually a really, really good time. Yes.
Nice. And since then, from now on, we see other assets like gold, oil, or even real estate. It's so crazy to see that something you can't touch it.
Yes.
I don't know, 300, 400,000% up.
Yes.
More than that.
Yes. More than that. Yes.
I just don't understand why people believe on it. Because when it comes to Forex, when it comes to stocks, when it comes to something that it's in a sense it's touchable, because when you buy Apple stocks, you can go to Apple. There is an existence in there.
Okay, you can see it somewhere.
You can see it somewhere.
You see everybody with iPhones and everything.
Correct.
I have one. Yeah.
She have one.
Yeah, you have AirPods, you have a MacBook.
I can see the sales going.
Yes.
I can see the
You can read the numbers.
I can see
That's one thing you guys from the common market,
the
usual market, you guys like to read the numbers.
Yeah, I need to.
You have to read the sales, you have to read the inflow, the
Correct.
outflow, the debt of the
balance
company,
sheet, the
the
whole
balance
thing.
sheet,
Yeah.
how much they have in, I don't know, in balance for like liquidity.
Liquidity, yeah.
So they can buy something or they can
Correct.
invest in new,
Definitely.
ways to like,
Yeah, no, that's all we look for. Very well explaining. But then when it comes to Bitcoin, what do I look for? I look for someone telling me to buy on Twitter, or why should I believe in Bitcoin? That's the question first.
Okay, so it's a really good point actually. And then I'm going for one professional answer here.
Okay, let's go.
Alright.
I'm gonna note it down.
So I prefer to believe in numbers, in pure mathematical programs and numbers than in people.
That's true.
So
Numbers don't lie, right? People
yes.
do.
So I prefer to trust in a smart contract or in one big program to make it easier. That's Bitcoin that was programmed 14 years ago. And then it's gonna run forever.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody can change that. It's just basically how it was programmed to work. It's gonna happen. Doesn't matter if I like. Doesn't matter my opinion. Doesn't matter the government opinion. Doesn't matter anything. So it's not somebody that's going there and changing the rates. It's not somebody.
Yes.
It's not somebody that's going there and saying now I'm gonna bring into $1 trillion, and everybody that's holding fiat currency, that's shitcoin,
Yeah.
Or a meme coin if you prefer.
Yeah.
A meme coin if you prefer. Everybody that's holding that, when they go there and, to make it simple again,
Yep.
press the button and print $1 trillion, everybody that's holding the fiat currency, doesn't matter the country, doesn't matter the fiat, they get less percentage of that.
Yes.
Because there is more liquidity. So if I had,
And there's the inflation.
if I had 10 in the order of 100, I would have 10%.
Yes.
But if I still have 10 and they print a lot and now there is 10,000, I still have 10, so I have less percentage of that.
Correct. Yeah, 1%
So,
then.
so my money is like just
Decreasing
losing
in
value.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the point.
Although, I want to touch base on this point with you later on, but, talking about halving,
Yes.
because it goes pretty well on what you're saying now. But before we go there, I want to know what's Bitcoin. Because I know what's a currency, but I don't know what's Bitcoin.
It tends to be a currency. Yeah, it tends to be a currency.
Right.
All right. So what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin was created after the big crash in 2008.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So one guy or a group of guys that we never gonna know who was that.
Yeah, that's another thing.
So that's Satoshi Nakamoto, our good friend. Thanks, Satoshi. Nobody never gonna know who was it, if it was a group, only one person. We have a really good guess now of this person that died. And
Was it?
he was always talking about that. In 2009, just after the beginning, he said he was running Bitcoin. And then after he was off of his job for 2 years, and then he came back saying, "Oh, I'm running Bitcoin again." And then yes, so he's dead now. So nobody never gonna know. That's a good thing. Why? Because you don't have a CEO. You don't have somebody
No
that
one knows.
you can't take the owner of Bitcoin to law, to court, or to something like that. So let's keep going on that. So what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin was programmed by this group of guys, or Satoshi Nakamoto. Once again, thanks. And they were pissed with what happened in 2008 and what happened in 2000 and what happened in, I don't know, before 2000,
1994,
you know?
Yeah.
So all the big crises, because big inflation, big 2 digits.
Well, right now,
Inflations,
2023,
you know,
2022.
and the house marketing, the bubble
Yeah.
of this, the bubble of that, everybody, like, so these guys, they were presenting, say, okay, we have to create something that don't rely on these guys' decisions, the government.
The government, yep.
Okay, so I don't trust, like this guy saying, I don't trust central bank, I don't trust these guys, I don't think they are the smartest guys to take the decisions for everybody else. That's what they do to nowadays, and they're gonna keep going. And then these guys created a program that, as I was telling you 10 minutes ago,
Yep.
so Bitcoin was basically created to be mined till 2114. It depends.
2114.
So after every 4 years, we have the big event that's halving. What is halving? It comes from the word half. Okay, so the inflation of Bitcoin is cut in half every 4 years.
It's the inflation.
The inflation, not the supply. The supply, it stays, but the inflation of Bitcoin, it goes down every 4 years in half. Okay, so 50%.
Right.
So in the beginning, it was like 100 Bitcoins every 10 minutes. That was the inflation of Bitcoin. Every 10 minutes, that's the time of the block of Bitcoin to be mined.
Okay.
So in one block of Bitcoin, it can contain 100 or 10 or 1 Bitcoin. So every 10 minutes, roughly, it's mined a block of Bitcoin that contains Bitcoin inside. Bitcoin is basically a big series of 1,000 numbers that there are hundreds of thousands of GPUs around the world, just trying to find the next Bitcoin. That's
the solution.
The solution, yes, that's a perfect match of the number. So when everybody, or some person finds that number, that's the block. Alrighty. So, and then after 4 years, it came to 50 per 10 minutes, and then 25 per 10 minutes, and then 12.5 for 10 minutes, and then the last one that was before the big pump of Bitcoin, when 2021 we hit the new all-time highs in 69K USD. So we came to 6.25 that we are now. So
6.25. That's where we are right now.
Right now,
So
every 10 minutes.
March.
That means if you multiply that, do the maths. I've done my one. So that's 900 Bitcoins per day, roughly, because a block can be mined in 9 minutes 30 seconds or in 10 minutes 30 seconds. So the average is 10 minutes.
Right.
So now it's 900 Bitcoins of inflation per day. Okay? And then after the big event halving in approximately 28 years, 28 days.
28 days, yeah.
28 days, gonna be half of that. So gonna be 450 Bitcoins mined per day. So that's gonna be the inflation. So gonna be 3.125 every 10 minutes.
Every 10 minutes.
And then if we keep this buying pressure that's happening now, for example, just so you guys know, last week, just BlackRock with the ETFs, they've bought like 10 times the inflation of the day in the same day. That means if we find... I
actually find it nice how you say the inflation of the day, because it's you know...
It kind of changes.
It changes. It's like an inflation of the day. It's not like that much Bitcoin. They bought it, the inflation, so they're actually taking off from the market before it happens.
Yes. So what happens is, in some day last week, just BlackRock bought 10 times the inflation of the day. So that means they bought 9,000 Bitcoins in that day. So tell me what happens when something, if you have like 10,000 for sale in Sydney, 10,000 houses for sale in Sydney, and somebody's buying 100 houses every day, what happens?
The price goes crazy.
That's what is happening now.
Yeah.
Yes?
I just had the price here right now.
Yes.
It's $67,125.70 right at the moment.
And 3 days ago, we were 60,000.
60?
60,000,
so that's wow, that's...
Got way down last week. Yes.
10% already.
10% already, yes. And
Wow.
the other week, we were
So that-
73,000.
So that means that
73,000.
that means that BlackRock made 10%.
Not
I mean,
exactly,
not
because when they bought, price was 73,000.
73,000.
73,000, yes.
But they are actually exposed on the market.
So when we say BlackRock buys it, it's not actually BlackRock. It's the clients of BlackRock.
right.
Because they have like $10 trillion under management.
Yes, they are the biggest one. Yeah.
Oh, they are the biggest in the world.
Yeah.
They
I wish we
control
were like
they control companies. They have
yes.
they have 50+% shares of a lot of companies.
Yes. They are.
So
on the
they
C-level.
control what is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what happens now is they say, okay, I'm advising you that have money with me.
Mm-hmm.
You've made a lot of money with me for the last 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
So would you trust me?
Yes.
Of
definitely.
course.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm telling you now, it's a good decision to put 1% in Bitcoin
Well,
of your
1%,
portfolio.
Yeah, 1% of.
So
1
when they
trillion.
buy 1% of every money they have there, that's a lot of money.
Of course, there is.
For example, the whole supply of Bitcoin now is around $1 trillion. $1 trillion.
Mm-hmm.
If BlackRock at some point they say you have to buy 10% of Bitcoin, that would be the whole
thing,
Bitcoin existence of Bitcoin. It just
yeah, and then what's gonna happen then? Because that's one of the questions. Okay,
Okay,
we have how much did you say in everything? We have 20.
ever to be mined to exist,
Yes.
gonna be 21 million units of Bitcoin.
Okay, stop there. 21 millions of Bitcoin on existence to be mined.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
What about if finishes? What's gonna happen with the price?
Okay, it's gonna finish at some point.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. Like, what's gonna happen with it? Like,
So I was telling you before. Till now we just passed the 90 million number.
yeah.
So we still have 1.8 million, let's say, to be mined, to be found.
Yeah, to be farmed. Yeah, that's what they say.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what happens? We have rumors of when Bitcoin was a penny. Yes, like back in 2012 or
Yep,
2010. Some people that had Bitcoin that time, they didn't have one Bitcoin. They had 100,000 Bitcoin.
Yes, millions.
And a lot of people, they lost it.
Yes.
You must have seen
I've
the
seen
case of the guy is still now on some place trying to find the
Trying to
HD
find, yeah,
with he had 100,000 Bitcoins on
Yeah,
there and he
yeah,
can never
yeah.
find and this and that. And so
I must have some Bitcoin somewhere to be
we
honest.
we actually think there might be around 2 million to 3 million lost Bitcoins.
Wow, that's a
That
lot.
would bring the oil supply down to 19 because with the Bitcoin we can read everything. Is everything public because it's on the blockchain?
Yeah, it's on the blockchain.
You can read everything.
You
Okay,
don't need to become a C level to actually
No.
see the data.
you don't have
between-
to be a big shark.
Yes.
You don't have to be a big whale. I
Different
can go.
different from the stocks because
Yes.
you know. Let's take a penny stock here. Supermarket that have just done an IPO. It's costing $12. If you buy 10% of the market cap, let's say the market cap right now is, just doing quick maths, it's $12 million. If you buy 10% of that, you go to the C-level board. So
Yes,
you can go
yes.
for meetings, you can go for everything, and you can increase price.
So you
can
have
look at
the
balance sheet.
good information.
Yes, you have all of the good information, so you can increase price,
Yes.
dump and pump, and buy.
You can manipulate
You
the
can
price.
manipulate. That is what I love. Well, I can't say I love him because what he's done. Some people judge to be wrong. Some people judge to be right. In my, as a portfolio manager, I look to it and what he's just done. It's not illegal. What he done is, I don't know if you know Michael Strelly. He is a 38-year-old guy right now. He was in jail for a couple of years, I think, because he's a very, very technical guy on chemistry. But that guy, he looked to one of the companies that was undervalued and I think that was costing at the moment $120 million. For him, $120 million, he couldn't, he couldn't take that $120 million, but he could buy I think he bought 22% of the company.
Ooh.
So that means that
almost 20 million. Let's say.
Almost 20 million. So that means he went to the board. So he became a C-level. That means that you can participate from boardrooms and everything.
You can know what's gonna happen before it happens.
Yes. So the thing is, another friend bought another portion. So now they have half of the company on their hands.
Okay.
So they manipulate it.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
They can do it. Nothing wrong with that.
It's all regulated. It's all
what
good.
they've done, they took the price of a HIV pill from $1.50 to $5,000. 5,000%.
Yes.
In a few seconds.
Yes.
So they came from 20 millions to $200 million.
Yes. Yes.
So they've just made $180 million in a few days.
Yes.
And then they sold it, and that's it.
Yes. And that's one thing. A lot of people talk about Bitcoin. They say, "Oh, this person gonna manipulate that. This person gonna manipulate that." But when it comes bigger and bigger, it comes harder.
Yeah.
To manipulate that because you need. Oh my God! It's a huge amount of money to just move the price.
It's too much liquidity.
Now it's 1 trillion. Okay, and then we're gonna hit gold. Bitcoin gonna hit gold. That's 14 trillion, I think now.
Yeah.
We're gonna be 10 times on that for sure. So, and when it's 10 trillion, who has the power now to move so much the price of gold? We see the price of gold going sideways for years and years and years. Until something weird happens, So why nobody does that with gold? Well, that's some. It happens everywhere. It happens everywhere.
I get your point. And another thing here is I was making some studies before we started. The daily moving money on Bitcoin is $1 trillion, isn't it? No, $1 billion. $1,740,000,000, 200 and something thousand and something hundreds and something cents. Forex is a $7 trillion market. No one can manipulate Forex.
That's right.
The only person that can manipulate
Forex
is the central bank.
You have to play in the game.
Yeah.
You don't. That's what is happening with Bitcoin now, because it's so expensive to manipulate that. That is easier.
Too much costly. Yeah.
It's easier and is more profitable to play within the game. So let's say if I have to spend $10 billion to manipulate Bitcoin price to make some percentage of profit. It's better than you could get this $10 billion, or you make some, I don't know, loan. And then you build a farm to mine Bitcoin. And then the whole profit is yours. And then you're playing within the game because now to manipulate the Bitcoin, in theory, you should have 51% of the GPU that's running.
That's a lot.
But how are you going to compete with everybody around the world? Every country has somebody or somewhere running Bitcoin.
The nerd guy doing...
like, take a look. A couple of years ago, China just banned Bitcoin. And everybody said Bitcoin is dead for the 400th time. And then what happened? Everybody got the GPUs, put inside containers, and I'm going to Vietnam. I'm going to Russia. I'm going somewhere. And then I'm going to plug it in again. And then China was the worst decision of China, because there the farmers need cheap electricity.
Correct.
And then China was a good point. Was like a lot of 20-25% of the farmers were in China. So everybody got the GPUs, put inside the containers, Bitcoin, and then that's another thing it's good to talk about. What happens when 20% of the workforce of the GPUs that are running Bitcoin
stop doing that?
What happens? Every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin itself, every 15 days, Bitcoin itself, the program itself, it adjusts the difficulty of to find a Bitcoin. Okay, so we have an average. So let's set an example here. Now, to find one Bitcoin, you need 1,000 computers running to find one Bitcoin every 10 minutes. You need 1,000 computers.
Right.
Okay, but what happens if you plug 500 computers on that, like right now? That's 1,500 computers. And then you cannot find, you're gonna be finding more Bitcoins every 10 minutes. So the system have to adjust,
Yeah, correct.
the difficulty to be 10,
That's
to be every 10 minutes the same quantity. So what happens? After a couple days, every 15 days, 14 days, it adjusts. So if you plug a lot of computers right now, for now gonna be easier to find Bitcoin. And then after a couple days, it's difficulty again. So it's going harder. So what happened when you took 20% of the GPUs out of mining Bitcoin? Because to mine Bitcoin is not just to find the new Bitcoins, it's also to confirm the transactions. When I make one transaction here in my phone, I need the GPUs running to confirm that transition is legal. That transition is, how do you say, is right.
Legit.
It's legit transition. Okay, so the miners, they find new Bitcoins and they confirm the transitions. The transactions, sorry.
Transaction, yes.
All right, so they got a big, small fee of that, but that's okay. So when you take 20% off, let's say you have to be easier to confirm the transactions. Have to be easier to find the Bitcoin so you can still find 6.25 every 10 minutes. Otherwise, if it's too hard to find Bitcoins, you have less computers, you're not gonna find a Bitcoin. So it adjusts itself. And now we actually in all-time high of the difficulty of to find a Bitcoin because everybody's plugging GPUs on that.
But one thing here is it's never too hard. Because if it's too hard, then it adjusts.
It adjusts itself again.
But it's never too easy as well. So it's always on the point.
So now, probably you can see on Instagram or somewhere, guys are building big lands of farms, of containers of GPUs and everything. So what happens when they plug it in, because they're just in construction, this and that, they're moving the stuff. But what happens when it's on? It's gonna become harder because it's more GPUs running.
GPUs running it.
So now we are actually today in all-time high difficulty to find a Bitcoin. That means that a lot of is running 90.9%.
Right.
Yes.
Wow, that's thanks for the explanation. It's a really nice explanation actually. When it comes to Bitcoin, you think it's only someone that put the stacks there and then you buy it, but no.
Yeah, some people say Satoshi can come back and sell all the Bitcoins. At some point, he's gonna sell the Bitcoins.
Imagine how much he has.
Yes, a lot.
A lot, right?
A lot. But what happens? He made a donation. What is the donation? As I was saying in the beginning, when we all hold, for example, here, Australian dollars.
Yes, correct.
So when they print more Australian dollars, our money value less, have less value. Okay, so when Satoshi, he now is gone forever, and he left the Bitcoin somewhere, nobody never gonna find it. Actually, everybody that holds Bitcoin became richer. Because the Bitcoin now has a big value because the scarcity of that is bigger. As I was telling you, if the total supply should be 21 millions, now in a couple of years we're going to be talking about maybe only 18 million.
18, 19, yeah.
So that makes everybody. So for example, Michael Saylor is one of the person that holds more Bitcoin. He holds Bitcoin.
I would ask you that. Who's the biggest holder of Bitcoin? Apart from Satoshi, most probably.
He holds Bitcoin himself, and he has MicroStrategy that he's loaning a lot of money to buy Bitcoin with MicroStrategy.
Okay.
Okay, yes. So
he's getting money, he's getting fiat money from the bank
and buying Bitcoin. Yes.
That's a good risk.
yes, and he's making a lot of money. Actually, he's making history anyways. So he's already said, I'm gonna leave all my personal Bitcoins. He cannot take talk about MicroStrategy because a public company and
Yeah.
But he already said, I'm never gonna sell my Bitcoins and I'm gonna make a donation for all Bitcoin holders. So if
so then everyone gets a bit.
No.
No.
If he has, let's say, 50,000 Bitcoins now.
Right.
Okay. So this is in the market, let's say, or
Right.
can come to the market at any time.
At market price, yeah.
He gonna live somewhere nobody never gonna find it. So it's like sometimes I don't know how to explain that. It's like we here in Chatswood, yeah.
Yep.
So it's basically you saying, okay, you get 10 streets full of houses. You say these houses can never be sold. So automatically, all the other houses, they increase in value.
Yep, correct.
So that's gonna happen. He's gonna leave his Bitcoin
Same
somewhere.
as you build something that the population is liking, to have on the area, like a supermarket.
Yes.
It increases the price.
Yes. So let's say that if you set a rule that you cannot sell 20% of Chatswood houses, automatically all the other houses increase in value.
Correct.
For sure, 100%.
Yep.
Because you have less offer. So he's gonna do that with his Bitcoins. He's never gonna sell. He's gonna live somewhere nobody ever gonna find it, and he's gonna make a donation for us. Yes.
That's interesting right there, guys. If you knew that, congratulations, because I didn't.
Yes.
Now, I have three questions here. We've talked about the halving that's going to happen on 28th of next month, April.
Yes.
We've talked about BlackRock buying 10 times more than what's produced on the day. We've talked about how big the actual players are on Bitcoin.
Yes.
Now, what will happen? Because it will happen, right? And sometime it will, and it's every day it's closer and closer. What will happen with Bitcoin can be a collateral for loaning.
Oh, I'm waiting for that.
All right. What happens?
I'm ready.
Because if all of those people holding Bitcoin right now, they come to the bank and see, what is your assets? I have 1 million, 5,000 Bitcoins.
Yes. There's a lot of money. Yes.
Yeah, like 500 Bitcoins.
Yes.
50 Bitcoins. That's my collateral. The bank will have to accept because the central bank is accepting.
Yes.
So what will happen?
That's a really good point, actually. That's a really good point. I'm gonna be a bit
all
crazy
yours.
here.
All yours.
Okay. People say, oh,
just remembering that we have an asset down back in US from AAA to AA, right, last year. Yes. Okay, so.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna be a bit crazy here. So people say government gonna take Bitcoin down. If they could, they would have done before.
Definitely.
Now it's too big, they can't. So that's why.
As you say, you have to play with it now.
You have to play with. And then they're trying to regulate that. It's too hard because they don't understand. You have a lot of 90s out there taking decisions. They don't know even what is money again.
Yeah.
Anyways, so what happens is, I'm waiting for this day, man. Why? Because everybody wants Bitcoin. The government wants Bitcoin. Because when the government, for example, they lawsuit somebody and then they got the Bitcoins, the funds of that company or something like that. You asked and I skipped that question.
Yep.
The US government is actually one of the biggest holders of Bitcoin.
Is it?
Guys, US government. Why?
The
Because when some case go to court and then the company, for example, FTX was a big company.
Yeah.
And then it goes somewhere.
Don't tell me they hold it.
What happens with that Bitcoin? Nobody's asking that.
They hold it?
What happens if when some family or some company or somebody they just lost the house, the house go to the bank or the house go to the government or
wow.
So
that's something
true. Guys, you didn't know that.
So US
okay,
is
so
the
US
biggest.
is, if not the biggest,
it's on
one
the list.
of the biggest.
Yep.
Top 3 for sure.
Yep.
I'm not right on that information now.
Yep.
It's top 3 for sure. Holders of Bitcoin, because what's going to happen? They have to sell it. But when it happened 5 years ago, Bitcoin was $20,000 and now it's 70. So you're telling me that U.S. government gonna sell Bitcoin for 2.5 times the price, so they're gonna make profit on that. So they have to give back the money to the people that they lost the funds, but now they have 2 times more money. Even if they pay back all the people that lost their money, where
is this going?
Is
This
the
is a
money
good
going?
question.
Because they're gonna sell for triple the price,
Yes.
or they just gonna sell
And
the size to
And,
pay the
yeah,
people,
exactly.
and then they're gonna hold the rest.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They won't give you dividends on that, right? They will keep the
So
dividends.
I'll keep going for your question. So what happens is everybody wants Bitcoin. Apple wants Bitcoin. Tesla wants Bitcoin. Countries,
Elon Musk definitely wants
Elon
Bitcoin.
Musk, countries, companies, they put in the balance sheet Bitcoin. El Salvador has one of the biggest profits over the countries.
They have even an island in El Salvador that only runs with Bitcoin.
That the Vulcan,
They
actually they're gonna open up a fund that's Vulcan.
I've seen it.
What is that? It's Vulcan. Vulcan something that they're gonna mine Bitcoin for Vulcan energy. Okay, so that's pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I'm going to your question. I was waiting that in 10 years to Bitcoin to be accepted as collateral. But now the big guys, as we said, BlackRock, the biggest one, they make the rules of the game. And if Gary Gensler say, oh, I'm not gonna accept this, they come say, hello Gensler, you fine over there? Yes, you like your position, you know,
Bye-bye.
you have a good position. Are you thinking to stay on that? Or, and by the way, Gary Gensler is less than 1 year to the next election. Come on, you know. So you have to do this. Maybe take a take a better look on that. Take a better look on that. Anyways, so now I was waiting there, to be honest, within 10 years. But everything now that the big guys came into the game, that everything is happening faster and faster. So that's why you asked me why Bitcoin is pumping too much. Because it shouldn't be happening now. It should be happening like in a couple years after. Or something like that. So when Bitcoin gets accepted as collateral, I can go to some bank and say, I don't have Apple stocks, but I have Bitcoin. Would you get me 1 million that I can buy some stuff? Or yes, the bank gonna say yes, of course. If you have your Bitcoin back in there, that's gonna be perfect. And then I'm waiting for this day because I'm holding to that. I'm diamond hand on that. Yes.
That's nice. Diamond hands right there.
Yes.
Now, I have 2 more questions, but before that, because what we see, you know, on a stock, on a currency, on a IPO, on anything related to stock market, I'm not talking about crypto, I'm talking about physical stocks or you know, commodities and everything. Every time there is let's say Australia, and we're going to have inflation reports, okay, in Australia, or we're going to have PMIs, producer manufacturer indexes, services manufactured, everything. You guys know what I'm talking about. Some of the times, most of the times when it talks about central bank, it gets felt you know, the market price in, we call this the pricification in the asset without this happening, but the market sentiment is already fulfilling a move that it's not happening. So when the news comes or when the release of something comes, then another move happens, but 20-30% of the move that's supposed to happen already happened. So now I'll ask you the question. We are having the halving on 28th of April. Will the Bitcoin go even higher on the 28th, on the 29th? And another thing is, isn't this move happening right now with Bitcoin reaching 72,000, wasn't it?
2 days ago, but now it's 67.
72,000 2 days ago. Isn't that the price in already for the halving? Because, or will this continue to go for 80?
Very, very good question. Very, very
good question.
So what happens? You just said that Really, really good. The movement happened before what, guys? Before the approval of the ETF.
True.
That was the big movement first. Okay, so the ETF was approved in 10th January. That's now 2 months.
Yep.
Okay, so the big movement happened from end of December and then till 1 week before the approval of the Bitcoin. And then nothing happened on the day. Okay, so it happens a lot in the usual market, as you said.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Everybody knows that something gonna happen in 30 days, so the price start moving now.
Yes, exactly.
And then the actual day, another thing happens.
Yeah.
So it's like buy in the news and sell in the...
Yeah, they say buy rumors and sell the facts. Yeah.
That's right. So what happens? Bitcoin made the first move from 20-something in December. 20-something December.
Right.
Because we all knew the last day of the approval or
Denied wasn't there.
was 10th January.
10th of January this year.
Yeah, this year.
Okay.
So that was the last day. Say yes or no this day. So everybody knew. So when last week, December, and then on, it started pumping. And then during the week, nothing happened. Okay. But the SEC,
SEC, yep.
SEC, they said, when I approve that, if I approve that, when I approve that, I want you guys to be running that next day.
Wow.
They said that I might not approve that.
As a challenge.
I might not approve it, but if I approve it, you guys have to be running that next day, offering to your clients. So what happens? BlackRock, Vanguard, everybody have to buy Bitcoin, front running the movement, because they have. When I ask BlackRock to, I need 1% of my portfolio in Bitcoin now, they must have it to start doing. They cannot go buy now. They have to have a little bit of stock. Stocked Bitcoin.
It's like a market.
And SEC also asked the ETF applicants to buy Bitcoin first to prove there was a legit movement, was a legit asset, let's say.
Yep, okay.
So they asked, if that's legit and you really want that, buy before.
Yep.
So it start creating a big pressure on that.
Yes.
And then during the week, nothing happened. But after, you start allocating your clients' funds in that 1% position you said. So now you have to be buying a lot. You have to be buying. But it's not just BlackRock. BlackRock, of course, have to be number one in everything.
Yeah.
And then they are the biggest now.
Yeah, they
put the fees down.
Yeah,
they do whatever.
They do whatever they want.
They take the biggest volume.
Yes.
That's it. And then everybody now have to buy because the clients want it. So they have to move 1%. Vanguard is putting, like, the recommended portfolio, safe portfolio, or this portfolio. They are adding 1% in every recommended portfolio of Bitcoin. 1%. Even in the safest portfolio, they are advising 1% of Bitcoin.
Wow.
And then after, gonna come the pension funds.
Pension funds, yeah.
It's even bigger than the ETF. And then you ask me if the price is going to start pumping.
No.
And then what happens? What I think now, I was saying to the guys in my Instagram today that maybe we had the last opportunity yesterday
to
buy cheap.
Oh, wow.
Because the clock's ticking. Every day is one day less before the halving. And then, guys, nothing gonna happen the day of halving, as you asked me. Nothing gonna happen. Bitcoin gonna start running normally. Because the pressure gonna keep coming during the time. Just 1 day of less inflation doesn't mean anything. Just 2 days of less inflation doesn't mean anything. As 1 day of high interest doesn't mean anything. When the government goes and change the rates in 1 day, in 6 months it doesn't change anything. We just saw it happening.
No,
we were talking about that
right.
a lot of months.
Completely right.
And then this is gonna come during 2024, and it's gonna be amazing. I expect, you didn't ask me, but anyways, I expect Bitcoin to hit at least.
That would be my last question. Don't say. Wait. Wait. Don't say.
Right. So, answering your question, yes, I think Bitcoin is gonna bump, and then. Yeah, it's gonna pump because a lot of in Japan now is like a little rumor that they wanna put 1% of the pension fund, and I think Japan is the biggest pension fund in the world.
Yes, they are. G10.
So if they put 1%, how that's gonna be, and then guys, it's a lot of crazy scenarios, but everything gonna happen because, for example, the kings of some countries. Like in the Middle East, I think we have some countries they have kings. They have princes.
Correct.
They really say, put this down now, and then the building is just down next day. In Dubai, for example, if I don't know what's the name. So if he says this street have to be here now, next day is there. Next day is there. And this street doesn't even exist anymore, and then the new street's here. These guys, they have 50 cars, they have 100 cars, and the sheikhs of Dubai, the sheikhs of Abu Dhabi, the sheikhs of somewhere, they're always competing. I have this stadium.
Yes, correct.
I have this stadium. My country has the highest building in the world. I have 100 cars. My phone has 10 kilos of gold, or something like that. What happens when it's already started? That's a front-running information, guys. They already started doing that. Sheikhs, they're gonna compete to say.
So who has more Bitcoin?
More Bitcoin because before I have 10 houses, I have 100 houses, I have 100 cars, I have the whole country. So they have to go broader. Like they have to go abroad and then see, what else I can have. I have 50% of the oil. I have 50% of the land.
Wow.
And then they're going to say, hello, my friend. I have 10,000 Bitcoins. What about you?
I don't have any.
I'm going to price whatever the price is. Because we have one sheikh of Abu Dhabi, if I'm not wrong. He was meeting 2 weeks ago El Salvador president.
Oof. There we go.
What are they talking about?
There we go.
They shaking hands on that.
Bitcoin is such a big thing in El Salvador, and everyone, even
what
a
is
fund
the sheikh?
there.
The sheikh of Abu Dhabi. I don't know if it's Abu Dhabi for sure, but it's one sheikh. He was there.
In El Salvador.
Was never there. He was never there in 20 years. And now he's there. Shaking president, and then El Salvador president is a guy that's hated, actually.
Yeah, I know, yes.
He says a lot of good things, but a lot of people don't like it. Anyways, so what is this guy doing that? Imagine if this guy says, brother, I really need to buy some Bitcoin. Please teach me. I need to have 100,000 Bitcoin. Doesn't matter the price. I'm gonna sell a little bit of the oil that I have a lot, and then I'm gonna buy a little bit of Bitcoin.
Just a little bit.
And then the next sheikh gonna see, wow, that guy is like.
It's getting richer than me.
Richer than me.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy Bitcoin as well. And then it goes.
This is gonna happen soon.
Wow.
Soon.
There you have it, guys. Now, last question, right?
Okay.
Before we go to the last question, so one before last. Regulation-wise, regulation-wise, it's something very new in terms of getting regulated. SEC coming in, CFTC, disclosing some numbers as well. What are we getting in terms of that? Like, is it, because in some countries it was illegal for you to own Bitcoin.
Yes.
It was illegal for you to mine Bitcoin. Even, I think China, was it?
Yeah, when China banned, it was illegal.
Yeah, illegal. Yeah, correct. So even though some countries it was illegal, and now, they're losing business for that because that's a business that comes to the country as well. So I want to know, in terms of regulation, pretty short, is it getting regulated?
Yes.
Is it not? And how this transition will happen?
So the Bitcoin maxis, that's the people that just believe in Bitcoin for everything. That's Bitcoin, we're going to buy bread, milk with Bitcoin.
Yes, correct.
These guys, they think it's bad. These guys. I'm not a Bitcoin maxi.
So,
Bitcoin maxi
okay.
is the guy that just owns Bitcoin.
Okay.
He says he doesn't have $1 in fiat
savings
currency.
account, yep.
That's is not true. But anyways,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
say
yeah.
only Bitcoin gonna save us. Oh, that's it. Okay. So what happens is, it's really good.
It's good.
It's really good. Why?
Because it becomes trustable, right?
When the regulation comes, the government can't say anymore, it's just bad guys that use that. It's just used for laundering money. It's just used for bad things. When they regulate that, they say it's legit. So for me, it's perfect. Because when they say it's legit, it can go to the next step that's become an asset that you can borrow against it. So for me, it's perfect situation. Of course, it becomes kind of tricky to make some movements. Okay, for example, here in Australia, it's getting a little bit hard to make some movements. Like, for example, I use some bank to transfer the money to some exchange, and then this bank is blocking me.
They're blocking you, yep.
This blocking me. They saying, is it scam? Is it that? I've called them. I've tried many times to fix it, but it's impossible. So I have to create an account in a different bank.
So they're always trying to block you to...
Yes, of regulations and everything.
Right.
Actually, Brazil, that's our home country,
Yep.
is going good.
Yeah, I
It's
saw it.
kind of good. It's kind of good.
What's the code?
Drax?
No, DCB?
CBDC.
CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency.
Yeah, but every
country has a
gonna
different,
have it. Yes. So when the regulation comes, that is already here. For example, the ETFs are proof of that. Because what happened before? BlackRock said, I want to buy 1 billion of Bitcoin. But they cannot. It's not like me. I open my phone, I go to some exchange, and I buy $100 of Bitcoin.
Yep.
BlackRock can't do that.
Yeah, they can't do that. You was explaining to me on your girlfriend's birthday that they actually need to go to a third-party market, right?
Yes, because it goes to manipulation market, this and that.
Yeah.
So they cannot just open up, and then they have to secure the fund somewhere. So it's not like...
Like a collateral?
No, they have to store the funds somewhere.
Okay,
You know?
like a trust.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is all big thing, and then they couldn't do that. And now that's regulated
Yeah, they can.
through the ETFs. They can do that because BlackRock, for example, just an example here, guys.
Yep.
They have to buy a lot because of the clients with the clients' funds.
Excessive
and then,
demand, yep.
And then, for example, we have that insurance of $250,000 when something happens.
The ILM, yep.
So the company goes down, you get $250 back. So if BlackRock open up exchange on the phone and buys that, they doesn't have security, doesn't have insurance, doesn't have nothing. But
So they're unprotected.
unprotected. So they cannot do that to the clients because the clients are leaving the money with them because they trust you and they know, no, I have this insurance, I have these protections, it's all regulated, I can get my money back, or if I don't get now, in 2-3 years, I'm gonna go to court and I'm gonna get that. So BlackRock couldn't do that with billions, with trillion dollars. So they have to be regulated. And the ETF, that's the way they can do that now. So they get protected in the common market. It gets operating 9 to 4, I don't know. So, it's all normal, let's say.
Wow, that's really good. Thanks for the explanation. And now the big question. Do you want to know, Dave? Of course you want to know. In terms of 2024 and in terms of, from now on, is it time to buy Bitcoin? What's the price it's going to be?
It is. The best day was yesterday.
The best day was yesterday to buy Bitcoin.
Yes.
So that video is going to be on Monday. So the best day was last week.
Best day was last week because you could have made 10% away.
Yes, you could. I was shocked about that.
You could have made 10% away. Okay, so we broke the new all-time high 2 weeks ago from the release of the video.
Yep.
2 weeks ago we bought the last all-time high was 69 USD. So we went
69,000 US dollars.
US dollars. And then we went to 73. Now we came back. Maybe in the time of this video gonna be 70 something again.
Yeah, maybe.
And then you more than me know that when some asset in the discover of the price,
Yep.
it doesn't have a resistance. It doesn't have the lower part where it's gonna hold the support. You know more than me. It doesn't have resistance. It doesn't have support. So what's gonna happen with the price? Nobody knows. So it can go up all the time. It can go out all the time. And then
because there's nothing holding it.
nothing holding. Nobody have Bitcoin in that level they're gonna sell. So there is no options on that.
Yeah, that's what I would say. There's no options on Bitcoin, right?
There's no options.
There are no expiry options.
Yes, there is no somebody that's locked there. Let's say.
Yeah, there's no
somebody
rollover
that
as well.
what is locked when somebody bought some asset too high and they came down. So he's locked there because
holding it.
if he sells now, gonna be a lot of loss.
Yeah.
So he's kind of locked there, waiting the price to come back. So generally, it happens when the price comes back to all-time high. Somebody that was locked there sells, and then they get free, and then the price can come down again. But after the all-time high, nobody's locked there. There is nobody there.
There's nobody
so
there.
I'm not gonna be in the middle. I'm gonna say that yes, I expect Bitcoin to come to all the way to $150,000, even more than that. By yes, after mid of this year. End of the year, let's say, all the way to 2025. Yes. Also, you're asking me about Ethereum and all this stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
Ethereum also.
Actually, I want to do the invite here for you again because that was a very good chat. We've pretty much. I had so many questions because I'm a very new.
We can talk all day.
Yeah. Same as sometimes you ask me questions related to what I do, and we go like that. It's very nice to be on your word because it's so different things from a corporate, corporate stuff here. But anyway, so we've talked so much about Bitcoin. I want to do an invite for you to come another day and talk about Ethereum, talk about the altcoins, those coins. So you guys can wait a second podcast with you at 2.0.
Oh, that's agreed.
Anyway, so I interrupt you. So 150K year end.
Yes. I expect that. Why? Because all of the points we said, the ETF came. They have to buy a lot. Pension fund in Japan is trying to put 1% on that. Now they're opening up in Hong Kong an ETF, spot ETF.
Wow.
In Hong Kong. So what is happening now? Bitcoin ETF is just running 9 to 5 in US because it just exists in US.
Stock hours.
Time. Yes. So when it opens in Hong Kong, it's going to be 24-hour Bitcoin trading.
Oh, that's true.
Of the big guys, not of me. Not my dollars.
Yeah.
Like the big $1 billion gonna be during the day, let's say
New York, Japan.
And then when close, Hong Kong is on, and then big shots.
We just need London now.
Big whales there, and then when it closes, New York's back again.
That's what we do here, pretty much. Yeah.
And then we have halving coming. If this buying pressure keeps coming, we're gonna see Bitcoin 100,000 really, really, really quick, guys.
US dollars,
yes, because it's crazy. It is crazy.
And what's happening now.
One good thing is, in Australian dollars, it's going all over. Why? Because it hits the all-time high before USD.
Before the USD, of course.
When in Australia it hits all-time high, in USD was 10% lower the all-time high. That means the Australian dollar was losing the last year to the US dollar.
Yeah.
That means when I bought Bitcoin for a lot of years, I was getting my money above Australian money.
Yeah.
Because the Bitcoin is priced in USD.
Average dollar in cost.
Yes.
Yeah, it was positive.
So because when I buy, I kind of buy in USD, and I hold Bitcoin. When it hits all-time high here, I didn't get the inflation of Australia.
No.
Because I had my money in Bitcoin.
Yes.
Plus the 250%. Only that in the next 6 months, I would say.
Jesus Christ,
Yes.
man.
So I expect that to go, if it's 70 now, I expect that to go more than 100% again. Yes, at least.
This year?
At least, yes.
Oh,
At
wow.
least. And the Australian dollars is already over $100,000, so it could go to $100,000.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. There you have it, guys. I think that was a very nice chat.
Yes.
Thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, all
it was
good.
really, really
my pleasure.
nice.
My pleasure to be here, guys.
Again, we're gonna do a 2.0 here.
Oh,
I
that's
want to
really
talk.
good.
I want to talk about the other coins as well, because when we talk about Bitcoin, it's something very materialized in a sense, because it's okay. This is good. You know, it has been proven track record. But now I'm seeing like those 19, 18, 15 years old making $10,000 on those meme coins, you know, pumps and dumps. I
It's
want to
happening
talk
a lot.
about ragdoll as well, you know, but where they create it, they give it to the board, and then they take it off, or they pull the carpet, you know.
Yes.
So I want to talk all about that, but not today, because we are running out of time. Again, thank you so much to come,
Not a
G.
problem. Can I send shout out to somebody?
Yeah, of course, do.
I wanna send salve to Augusto.
Nice.
He's for sure watching this, my good brother that Australian gave me. Why I'm sending this salve to him is shout out to Augusto. He obligated me to buy the first Bitcoin. He invited me to a barbecue, and then it was a trap. It was not a fun barbecue.
Right.
He said, I'm telling you to buy Bitcoin. It's been 3 months and you never bought it. So I invited you for a barbecue that's a fake barbecue.
It's for you to buy it.
And then you're gonna download the app now. You're gonna put $100, $200 on that now. And you're gonna buy your first dollars in Bitcoin right now.
Wow.
You're not leaving this house without buying Bitcoin. So this guy, Augusto, he's a big whale.
Oh, is he?
And he's like, he doesn't like to pee.
Yeah. Oh, I know
So-
who it is. You talked about him.
Yes,
Right?
so he's really low profile.
Yeah.
He doesn't like to be known,
Yeah.
but he's
But he knows it's for him.
his life's changed a lot with Bitcoin. My life's changed a lot with Bitcoin.
Nice.
So I'm really thankful to him. He
Yeah.
obligated me to buy the first dollars in Bitcoin. So salve to Augusto.
All right, Gusto. Thank you, guys. That's very nice, man. Thank you again. So just gonna ask you guys to leave a comment if you have any questions for the second episode we're gonna be doing. As well, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You wanna see anything else?
My own opinion is I'm buying everything I can.
Okay. There you have it. All right, guys. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.